This is Sustainability in Fashion in a Post-COVID World, investigating Gen Z college students' knowledge, perceptions, and behavior towards sustainable fashion apparel. Hello, my name is Carrie Cope. I'm a junior majoring in consumer apparel and retail studies. I worked on this research with my professor, Dr. Jin Su. The motivations of this study. The fashion industry is widely believed to be the second most polluting industry in the world. Sustainability is a dynamic and rich concept in fashion. Gen Z is emerging as the sustainability generation and will soon become the largest cohort of consumers. The COVID-19 pandemic has a way of profoundly shaping the lifetime spending habits of Gen Z, and the pandemic didn't start the sustainability revolution, but it has put it into hyperdrive, and Gen Z is in the driver's seat. So the literature review. I'm only going to go over a couple of these and then I will move on. There is low involvement in the buying process among Gen Z. 75% of younger consumers say that they would purchase environmentally friendly products. They have a spending power of $150 billion. They are 40% of global consumers and they want brands that mirror their faiths and values. And it's more about reuse, recycle, but not reduce, and direct consumer behavior towards more ethical and environmentally friendly consumption. This is a graphic of the framework of Gen Z buyer decision-making process. So it's all the way from receiving information from places such as social media, all the way to the post-purchase decision and whether they are satisfied or not. More about the literature review. Gen Z has high intrinsic motivation to behave sustainably. Influencers are distinct drivers of social aspects such as trends and norms, and Gen Z must have trust in them to purchase something. And it's more about voting with the wallet, and consumer behaviors are an essential component of the consumption processes, and consumers are still mainly concentrating on price. And this is another graphic about the factors that influence purchase intention, such as perceived environmental concern and willingness to pay premium. This is about social media affecting consumers' behaviors. So consumers are more and more aware of their shared responsibility for the environment, sustainable development, and other problems exposed by the media. And our research method is a qualitative inductive research method approved by the IRB from UNCG. And 20 college students were identified and took part in semi-structured interviews on Zoom and in person. The interviews lasted approximately 30 minutes to 1 hour, were audio or video recorded and were transcribed. And it followed the thematic analysis procedure, including familiarizing the researchers themselves with the data, generating initial codes, searching for themes, reviewing themes, defining and naming themes, and producing the report. And some of the questions that we asked were, what is your current knowledge of sustainability in the fashion industry today? Are you willing to pay a premium for eco-friendly clothing or fair trade clothing? Has the pandemic affected your apparel/fashion consumption behaviors regarding sustainability? And now onto the findings for major themes and quotes. So this is the participant profile of all 20 interviews that I conducted. So the environmental perspective is more about apparel waste during production and consumption, the fast fashion phenomenon, overconsumption, reuse and recycle. And participant number 11 said that sustainability, from what I understand, is something to basically prolong the well-being of the environment through companies. And they talked more about apparel waste and how things go into landfills. And they talked about Lee as well. In the social perspective, so more about the labor issue and animal fur issue. In challenges such as price, restriction from student income, availability, knowledge, style/design, and old behavior. And participant number 12 said more about the price and how more sustainable options are very expensive, but it's also not easy to produce something that's sustainable. And they don't see a lot of things like that because we are already looking at cheaper options. And there are more sustainable practices that people talked about, such as reuse and recycle, secondhand/thrifting, consumer minimalism, hand-me-downs, how much you wear a garment, buying from small businesses, and donating clothing. And participant number 9 said that they focus a lot about that, whether that's donating clothes or giving them to places that are locally sourced where they can make something out of them, so it's not going into a landfill or polluting or corruption. And the COVID pandemic impact is about saving money, reduced clothing purchase, shopping online, increased consciousness, more casual clothing, and reflecting clothing consumption behavior. In the conclusions and results, so students with CARS majors are more knowledgeable. College students know about the environmental impact than social impact. So out of 20, only 4 students mentioned the social impact, 1 mentioning labor, and 3 mentioning animal fur issue. More about price and their limited income, the sustainable practices we mentioned earlier, and Gen Z college students get the fashion sustainability knowledge from classes, social media, and their peers and friends. And there's the references, and thank you so much.